What's going on, banana fans? Today I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do more of a tutorial for killing floor 3, show my way of completing the hardest difficulty with Firebug, which personally I think is the best class for the perks, weapons, and ability. But that's just my opinion. This is something new for me, so I'm going to talk a lot in this video. So if you just want gameplay with no commentary, it ain't here. Anyway, I'm going to start off with my perks, weapons, and attachments. So to start off, Hell on Earth difficulty isn't a joke. That's why you should really focus on your level before taking it on. I'm sure you could do it at a lower level, but I'm almost max level for this video. My first perk is going to be too hot to handle. It's just kind of a defense perk against an enemy that likes to sneak up on you here and there. The fire resistance is good too for the husks, but I prefer this one. The next perk is focus fire. This one is a must, especially for the weapon we use later on. It's amazing for every enemy, but helps a lot against Skrakes and flesh pounds, because those guys, you need to get rid of them ASAP. Fuel to burn is another really good perk compared to slow cook. Pretty self-explanatory, more ammo, more shooting. So this next perk could be either or. Both are good, but some would pick hot foot for the healing factor, which is good, but I prefer the armor from red zone just because I have a perk later on. It basically heals you to full health when you use it. So just by killing 5 enemies, you get 6 armor, which is nice, saves you money at the trader too. Explosive reaction is the best out of these 3 in my opinion. I know 30% doesn't seem like a big chance, but I swear it activates way more than that. Just good for extra damage compared to extinguisher and barbecue bash. Both of those are okay, but that extra damage comes in clutch for the big group of Zeds. To be honest, the throwable perks are okay, not the best, but I chose a bigger radius, but you can choose either of the 3. I usually use the Molotovs and doorways, which forces enemies to walk through it, but the cocked up party and firecracker are both good for stun abilities. Level 10 and 22 are just extra Molotovs. Level 16 is either or again. It's either more burning damage or stays 3 seconds longer. It's kind of just similar. Heat therapy is the health perk. This perk is really good for health, plus while using it, it gives you invulnerability during its activation. The other 2 are good if you want increased damage for a short time, but that's up to you. It's only 10 seconds. Footlights is just for some extra damage and radius instead of running faster for 10 seconds. Triple play is a perk that I use to clear a path and get some of the further ranged enemies like bloats, husks, and sirens. Red carpet is good for increased damage when standing in wildfire's radius, but it kind of forces you to stay still, and if you're surrounded by skrakes and flesh pounds, it ain't gonna be pretty. And the last perk I used is hot streak. This helps you get your wildfire ability back faster compared to just increased radius. And the weapons and attachments is really helpful, so definitely start working on upgrading those. The main weapon we're going to be using is the Vulcan, and this thing is a Zed destroyer with 2 firing modes, explosive or flamethrower. It nukes flesh pounds and skrakes like nothing, and the stun on it really stops them in their tracks, hence the name of my custom Vulcan, Nucleistic. Pretty cheesy, but I like it. But to begin, we gotta use the starting weapon. I prefer a better starting gun also for the fact that it will sell for more in the trader so you can get the Vulcan early. One thing to keep in mind, if you want to try Hell on Earth at a lower level, your operational budget won't be as high. So you'll be as broke as a homeless man begging for money.
Spare change.
When making a custom weapon, the cost of that weapon goes up for your operational budget, so be mindful of that. With that out of the way, the setup for me is a custom brimstone, and the tool I use is multi-tool. This is a must on round 1. It's so helpful, and you see how many times that thing saved my life. Alrighty, I think that covers all the prepping for the match. Let's get into one. To start off, I always use my 1 multi-tool for a sentry gun, and then I head into the next room with the 3 floors. I usually like this corner here for camping, because not too many Zeds come from behind you, but a good note is there's 2 vents you gotta worry about after round 1, but only clots and cysts come out of it. It seems like an obvious one to say, but shooting a husk's tank is better than shooting his head. Use him as a bomb near other Zeds. I know, obvious, right? This corner is nice because it has a couple of escape routes. You can jump the railing, that'll hurt a bit. You can hop the stairs or run down the hall to my left, and that opens up a couple new escape routes. You can circle around, or if you hooked up the zip line, which you'll see later on, you can use that as well. The thing is with camping, there really isn't many amazing spots because there's lots of vents, spawn points, and crawlers. So with that being said, every once in a while, check your back because that one Zed that sneaks up on you can end the whole game faster than you think. Whenever it seems a bit overwhelming, don't be afraid to circle back and reorganize yourself. As you'll see, I'll hop the stairs in a second. After hopping the stairs, I recommend using the turret to lighten the horde a little bit. As you can see, they're getting to me here. I use my ability to heal some health, but I get pushed into a glitch spot and I couldn't move. Then I jumped out of it. At the trader, I can now instantly buy the first variation of the Vulcan, which is super helpful before getting your custom one. I'm not missing syringes here, but try to keep at least 2 in your inventory at all times. So I upgrade my armor and get some more multi-tools. I open up this door for better ways to loop back around and another exit if needed. Then I open up these armor crates, which I save for the boss fight. There's only 3 in this map, so I save at least 2 for the boss fight just in case. I usually need 1, but second to be safe. Sometimes the boss can get a couple good hits in. So now with this Vulcan, we can really do some damage. The trick with the Vulcan is you need to charge it up a little bit and fire. It's a perfect shot instead of fully powering up because you're wasting more ammo and taking a bit longer to shoot. If you go for medium shots, especially on the Skrakes and Flesh Pounds, makes them stumble after 2 to 3 medium shots. It does a good amount of damage, but just wait until I get my custom Vulcan. You can also use the fully charged shots, which you'll see I use a couple times, but do what works best for you. The Vulcan also has a flamethrower, which is nice if you want to take care of the smaller enemies like cysts and clots, but I prefer the explosives for the radius. I suggest you always use your ability to heal yourself if you're less than 50 health to save syringes as much as possible, because you can go through 3 like nothing. Right here, I was trying to do my zipline strategy, but I didn't have my zipline set up yet. You'll see next round how helpful these are. The Vulcan's explosive damage is really good, added with the direct hit damage and also the 30% for explosion damage. So here's our first Skrake, and let me show you how quick we make jelly out of him. You can see why we need to get rid of him ASAP. That damage is no joke. As I'm constantly checking my back, I try to clear a path but run out of bullets. If I jump the railing only from the second to first, never jump from the third. Fall damage in this game is no joke. You need to be quick on your feet with these escape routes. 3 to 4 hits from that Skrake from behind would have killed me. Also note, when jumping from the second to first, use the little plant areas to lighten your fall for no damage. The zip lines require the Zeds to go around and give you time to heal, reload, or just get distance, so always use them. But they have a cooldown, so make sure to circle around like training zombies in COD. I feel like they might nerf ziplines because how powerful they may be. You can see the red circle in the bottom left for the zipline cooldown. It's about 20 seconds. Another major enemy is that siren. You gotta take her out ASAP. Her shots are disorienting. Same thing for the husks. Their fire hurts quite a bit. For these Skrakes, remember those medium shots and always take advantage of Zed time. I use my ability to heal and get rid of the smaller Zeds. Then go execute the Skrake behind me and manage to get the other one as well. This right here is how lucky I got and also shows how powerful that siren really is. From 70 health to 1 in 2 seconds. Never underestimate the sirens. I never mentioned it before, but just going in the pod is a free max health, so don't waste your stims at the end of the wave. Now we're on to the custom Vulcan. This thing is so OP. I can shoot without charged shots and kill sirens, bloats, husks in one shot. I genuinely feel like this weapon is going to get nerfed. It's so strong against every enemy, it barely has any downside. In the pod, max out your heals. Don't worry about the armor because that's why we have one of those crates we opened. I also bought another multi-tool for my last zipline to help us get around a bit more. You can see how strong this weapon is. It'll be popping Zeds like balloons. So this spot on the 3rd floor is decent if the wall wasn't broken to my right, but the zipline to my left is here, so I feel comfortable protecting myself. And if need be, I use a zipline to escape. Even with this weapon being that powerful, you gotta know when to retreat. You can't fight everything up close. Now down on the 1st floor, I had to jump the railing, but since we activated the zipline, I feel safer in this area. We just have to wait for the cooldown. Just keep using the basic shots to conserve ammo, and on the Skrake, use the medium shots. We're just going to ignore my terrible accuracy. But back on the 3rd floor, we have another zipline. And I heard my first Flesh Pound, but honestly, Flesh Pounds in Killing Floor 3 were the scariest in Killing Floor 2, but now it's the Skrake you gotta worry about. Flesh Pound can easily be dodged with most attacks. That Skrake's grappling hook is the worst to get caught in. After coming back to the 1st level, I found me a dancing Skrake and a couple other enemies. I really hope to work on the bugs in this game. Like, this is pathetic and almost as bad as my accuracy. Well, I could have easily killed him, but I had to have a little fun, right? After killing him, all these enemies jumped me. Like, what the heck?
Fight back!
And here's the Flesh Pound, the weak old Flesh Pound. Let's see how weak he is against my Vulcan. Just want to fire a couple big shots since he's by himself.
That was easy.
Back at the pod, number 1 after syringes is the ammo for the nuclearistic. I know, a great name. Now we can really buy anything, so I max out my armor, fill up all the multi-tools, so now I can activate more turrets and open more armor boxes. The turrets really can lighten the horde, but having them activated beforehand is safer because the cooldown is like 5 minutes. Activating them later for free takes a second. Having them active before a wave is helpful. It lets you run into a room with covering fire. Back in our original corner, we get to relax and chill and pick off the smaller enemies because they mean no harm with the Vulcan. When in the corner, keep an eye on the vents in the left hallway frequently to avoid damage.
Cool, we didn't know know that.
Shut up, Timmy. I'm trying to help you. Good thing with this spot is you'll see Scrakes and Flesh Pounds coming from a mile away, so you get time to react accordingly. I'm firing off big shots at him since he's alone to get rid of him ASAP, to maintain my little safety corner, but usually when I'm on the run, I fire medium shots. As I'm fighting him, you can see I'm always checking my back just briefly because it makes a huge difference, believe me. Right here, I'm getting a bit messy with the flamethrower, which is slowing me down on taking out the Zeds, which allows this Flesh Pound in, so I retreat and heal and do my zipline strat from earlier. Well, now that it's there, it gives me time to reload and relocate. I barely use my Molotovs, as you can see. They just don't feel that strong to me for the price they cost, but use them at your free will. Back in the top corner, we deal with the Flesh Pound, hold out in the corner for a bit. I'm checking my back, but this wall that's broken to my right is quite an annoyance, but I deal with it as best I can. After all, we do got zip lines for that reason. So with the two guys in front of me, I gotta maintain distance, so with utilizing the dash backwards, I keep firing. When I need to reload, I use zipline again to be at a safe distance, and rinse and repeat. With a couple enemies remaining, you don't gotta check your back too much, and with the Vulcan, we can take them all out with ease. Coming up on our last wave before the boss fight, we have basically enough money to buy anything we need. You can just autofill, but don't do what I just did. I forgot to swap my secondary for a better one first. We maxed out on our multi-tools. You can bring a pulse lure, it's like a monkey bomb. It makes the Zeds fight each other. It's good for like Scrakes and Flesh Pounds, but definitely buy something to replace that. So with us reaching our last wave, I'm heading to the top floor for that zipline area. We got 105 Zeds and probably at least 5 mini boss Zeds. Try your best to maintain this area for as long as you can. If things get messy, you know where to go. Our famous zipline. On this map, they are so good because of the floor difference and the zipline distance. Woo! I should become a rapper.
That was terrible.
Shut up, Timmy! Anyway, with that Scrake kind of blocking my exit on the zip line, I just take the long road and get some heals out of it. You really have to be careful of that Scrake's hook. He will put an end to your game if he pulls you into a horde of Zeds. He is no joke in this game. So keep distance, keep firing, and watch your back for a second one. With 70 Zeds remaining, we're doing pretty well up here. We're ready for another loop on the zip line. Just got a couple of Flesh Pounds with our Zed time, so we're putting work in before we get out of there. Sometimes you gotta take new routes when these enemies cut you off. So I switched over to the lab room and cut through there. We're down to less than half enemies left. A couple of big Zeds, but it's almost over. And we're making good use out of the Zed time. So right here is exactly why I opened this door so early on, because I knew it would come in handy for another exit route. This gun makes cake of Zeds. Look at that husk. With one shot, just poof, gone. Making one last loop around into the open room with a turret to lend us a hand. Then looping back into our zipline room. With this many mini boss Zeds, after every shot, I like to dash back to keep them from closing in on me, since there were like 5 of them in here. But as you can see, they literally have no chance against this gun. And we're down to our little siren friend that almost ended our game early on. I saved 1 bullet just for her. Our final wave is the boss, which isn't that bad either. Back to the pod. To make it simple, just autofill, and I changed the lures to a shock trap here, just to stop the boss for a bit to gain some distance because they are very quick and don't slow down. So with the last wave coming up, this is what we got. I like to start in the open room because there's a turret and I know exactly which direction the boss comes from. And I'm checking the map and showing all the things we have prepped for this boss. We have 3 turrets, 2 zip lines, and 2 armor crates if needed. We are more than ready. I get the Queen Crawler boss here, which isn't that bad of a boss, and it doesn't matter which boss you get. This strat works all the same for Chimera, or is it Chimera? I'm not sure, and Impaler. If you start here where I am, the boss comes from the opposite ramp. So at this point, you really gotta be shooting and running. Just follow my route here, mix it up however the boss is reacting to it. The Queen Crawler is pretty easy, just to dodge the range attacks, and its melee attacks are pretty simple as well. As the boss is going through small rooms, keep firing constantly and dodging backwards to keep distance, and occasionally dodge to the side for his range or lunge attacks. If the boss is getting too close to you, you can also use a zipline in that room to circle back around. Or if the boss is also gaining on you, you can drop shock traps between doorways to slow it down. Back into the room with the 3 floors, we have a zipline to take coming up. This will force the boss to come down the stairs, and if done pretty well, you'll have the perfect amount of time to take the next zipline, and this forces the boss to run through your turret's guns to take extra damage. It isn't much, but it helps. After the boss reaches half health, it changes tactics. It will go underground and try and sneak attack you from the purple portals. These shoot out crawler larvae and one will shoot out the queen. Just dodge the charging attack of her coming out. This is the most powerful attack, so be sure to move out the way. I get hit by it twice here, but losing chunks of armor and health for it. Back into our open room, I activate the turret in here for extra support. You don't have to worry too much of the crawler larvae. They kind of just die from an explosion radius of the Vulcan. The boss fight is pretty simple. Just use the dodging mechanic, and if needed, bring the boss through the rooms with your activated turrets for added damage. But I'm okay in this room here. I'm just circling the boss and dealing as much damage as possible. Also, remember to use your ability to gain that health for free and deal some extra damage too. If I feel like the boss is too much in my face, I can drop a shock trap for some distance. You have 4, so use them wherever you feel needed. Since we're nearing the end, I fill up on health and armor just because why not? As you can see, we're almost finished up here, and it's almost time to close this out and dethrone the queen. And just like that, that's my way, my strategy to beating Hell on Earth with Firebug at just level 27. If you have your own way on your own map, different loadout, or different route, go for it. This is just how I managed to do it. It all worked out well for me, so give yours a shot. Thanks for watching, I hope this helped, and if it did, you can subscribe if you like. No pressure though. That's all for me. Banana Man, out!